This video is brought to you by Arma, who provides top quality supplements to athletes of all kinds. Riders like Nick Way, Chad Reed, Jeremy McGrath use them for pre, during, and post-activity applications. Be sure to head to armasport.com and use the code RACERX. That's RACERX, no spaces, for 20% off your first order.
Hey everybody, what's up? I'm William Zapka with Cobra Kai, and this is RacerXOnline.com, and we are out here at the beautiful Perris Raceway. It's not actually that hot, and we're out here with the Orange Pumpkin KTM 450 SXF 2021 edition. Going to give you a little first impression on what this bike is like. I wanted to come to Perris because it's more of a clay-based track, has good deep ruts. Today, it's Friday, the week off from the Nationals. Lots of pros out here today, so it's shaped up really nice to test this bike. To the right of me, right here, Kenny Day.
With Alpinestars.
He's with Alpinestars. He was my other test dummy today as well.
I was.
And we're going to talk to you a little bit about this bike right now. So, first of all, not a lot of changes in 2021. If you're coming off a 2020.5 factory edition, you're going to have the same changes that those guys over at KTM made to the forks and the shock. New valving settings, bypass oil settings, different, obviously, valve shims, everything that you guys saw in the 2020.5, here is the 2021, and it's the same thing. SKF seals, low friction. That is very key. So when you're talking about low friction seals, you're probably thinking, whatever, dude, like it's low friction, I'm not going to notice it. You will notice it on this linkage. I went back and forth when I tried my factory edition with the standard 2020 edition, and you can tell. So where you can tell on the track with these SKF low friction seals is acceleration out of corners. So a little bit more rear wheel traction, a little bit more squat, that is a benefit, and they rolled that over in the 2021. All right, another change to this bike is the upper conride bushing. It's a
Copper beryllium.
I made him say it because I couldn't say it. Instead of DLC coated, so that is a change. Obviously, the shift star is improved for reliability. So little bits and pieces of this bike is improved for 21. I wouldn't say it's a major change, but things like durability is an important aspect to you guys out there, especially when you're buying a $10,000 motorcycle, right? So right away, this guy has a Husky that I let him ride. Husqvarna, sorry. So I'm going to hand it to him and give you guys some information on what he thinks. Give us your stats first.
Stats? Let's see. I'm 32. I'm 150 pounds. I guess I'm vet pro.
There you go.
Yeah, something like that.
So hopping on this thing compared to your Husky, because I like to do that. You know, there's not a lot of changes here that we can just talk about from last year's bike. So the major differences coming off from your, obviously, Rockstar edition to this bike.
Correct. First thing I'd say is the way that the whole rear of the bike feels. With this one, you have the aluminum subframe. With the Husky, you have the carbon. Yeah. So with the Husky, I get a low in the rear feel. I've always had that. I've gotten used to it, and I've enjoyed it. But today, getting back on the KTM gives me a better feel. I feel that the rear of the bike is higher. I also feel a bit taller on the bike because of it. So I lost all the feel of having kind of like a lower stroke in the rear today, and I actually enjoyed it. It helped really good in the ruts.
So for me, if you guys are coming off of like a, let's say a 2021 FC 450, that is lower 10 millimeters in the suspension. This is not like the Husqvarna. I really want to drive that home. Its suspension is proprietary to KTM. It's a lot different than the Husqvarna. It feels different. I sit up a little bit taller, like Kenny said. I like that feel. Obviously, what WP is doing to the air fork is much better. It is improved. I like that feeling as well. I'm just not sold on the duration of the comfort that I will get on it. So here at Perris today, long ruts, ease of cornering is amazing. I like that aspect of this bike. But for me, On a longer day, when I got to charge motos, it does change over time. Obviously, it's an air fork, right? So, but WP has improved the comfort, especially on that initial crust that we like to call here in the testing world, of that initial top stroke. So that is improved. The thing I like about the KTM, and I'll hand it to you, is how easy it is to ride. The ECU settings are a little bit different. I did notice in map 1, it was a little bit of a rich feeling on low RPM, but map 2 had much better feel, much better connection, a little bit more excitement down low. And for me, I could just roll around this track in second gear. It's very usable.
Correct. I actually went map 1. Okay. I prefer a little more mellowness, so map 1 was a little more mellow to me. Map 2 is just a little too lively for my liking. I like riding a 250F, so I like a snap, but when I go to the 450 with map 2, it's just a little too much for me.
The thing I noticed about KTMs, and I talked to Chris Blows about this not too long ago, is I seem to stand up a lot on KTMs. For whatever reason, this bike invites me to stand up longer in corners. If there's a long rut out here at Perris Raceway, I can go straight Euro style and just stand up a lot. So I kind of like that. I'm a taller guy. It fits my style. I don't know if you noticed that at all.
I completely noticed it today. I've always been a stand-up guy, but this bike allows you to be standing up all the way through the apex at times. And today with the track and the ruts, we had fast guys here, so the ruts were long and they had hooks. So you almost had to stand up, and the bike made it easy today.
Another thing I like about this bike is reliability. I've had one of these for 100 hours. I've done nothing to it. I had Nate and the guys over at KTM look into the valve clearance. That was fine. Clutches are superb. They last a long time. And the differences for me in the linkage and the suspension obviously makes a little bit better of a 2021 KTM 450 SXF. One thing I do not like, and I always want to point something out here, Dunlop MX33 tires. He's looking at me. I'm not a fan of the front tire. Never have been. I've complained to Dunlop about this, and now most of the manufacturers are going to go that direction in 2021. Let's bring back the MX3 SF. If you want to go Dunlop, let's bring it back. Much better feel, more connection to the ground. I just don't know with this tire what it's going to do. Do you have a problem with this tire?
I do, a little.
Yeah.
I do. I have a front end wash. It's a little unpredictable at times if there's a hard base. Coming out of a rut, if you have any kind of chop or a hole, you get a little bit of a push sometimes from the tire. I also run it on my personal bike, and I notice that I have a big amount of fold at the end of the day on my rim from the tire.
Things that I noticed as well, vibration is up a little bit on this. I don't know if you ride the Husqvarna a lot. I notice a little bit more vibration with the KTM. I think I'm getting used to it over time. Every time I hop on one, it doesn't bother me as much, but it's something that I noticed coming off a Japanese bike. And for me, we've always complained about the power maybe being too soft at times. It is if you're riding a very deep track. I feel like we could use some more RPM response. But here on the West Coast, when it gets hard pack and square edgy, this power is easy to ride. Super connected. I can roll my corners really nice. It's very long and linear. I like that. So if you're a vet guy worried about, hey, I don't know if I can hang on to a 450, this type of power, don't be concerned about it. It's easy to ride. There's not a lot of hit. You're not going to get out of control. You're not going to get whiskey throttle. Very simple to ride. You're
150 pounds, very linear power, like you said. Not too much for me. That's why I prefer map 1. Yeah. I can just roll on and get around the track, everything I need.
I like the orange roof fender. Good job, KTM. But can we make the frame orange as well? I know it's a factory edition thing, but a little bit more orange would be nice. I mean, we do call this thing a pumpkin, but one of my favorite 450s to ride. If you guys are looking to get one, they're available now, out dealers right now. Check them out. But things that I want to mention when you guys get a new bike, keep an eye out on some bolts. Spokes are obviously important. They'll seat, they'll break in. Keep an eye on that. The Torx bolts on the top engine hanger, keep an eye on those. Those will start to seat and back out a little bit. A little bit of blue Loctite will help. Another cool feature that KTM brings to the table is adjustability. Obviously, we know the air fork is super adjustable, but the adjustment, the knobs are very cool. Kenny?
Yeah, one of my favorite things about the KTM is the fact that, like, if I'm on the track and I feel something and I want to make a change, I can do it right on the fly. I can just pull over and you can physically grab the adjuster and do it. So you can do compression. You could also do rebound at the bottom of the fork just by stopping. That's huge, because then I don't have to come back, grab a screwdriver. I can just do it while I'm out there and see if I'm right or wrong.
Yeah, and if you like to tinker with stuff like me, super easy to do. It got a knob on the bottom of the fork leg now. It's easy to get to. You can feel it. You don't even have to look at it. You can just feel it and turn it in or out. So super easy. A lot of adjustability out of the KTM. So kudos to those guys for doing that. Brakes, hydraulic clutch, huge thing on a KTM. I know that's a selling point for a lot of you guys out there. There is nothing else that is better than a Brembo brake. It's amazing how much faster you can go into corners when you have a really strong brake.
Yeah, I agree. I thought I was going to overshoot quite a few things today, and I stopped immediately. It's almost a little too good at times, but I love it.
Yeah, for me, I like it's not really a touchy feel. It's actually progressive, but you can grab a lot of it and you're stopping in a hurry. So charging in the corner harder is made easier with these brakes. Hydraulic clutch, I'm not a hydraulic guy or a cable guy. I just want to make sure it's not on-off feeling. The KTM is a little on-off feeling for me. A little tough to do starts at times, but man, the clutch lasts a long time. I have that feeling throughout a whole moto. Are you a hydraulic guy yourself, or do you like cable?
I think I prefer cable, but I don't mind this. It is a little on-off, like you said. Yeah. I haven't done starts on this bike, so I couldn't agree with that yet. But overall, I do prefer a cable. It's kind of what I grew up riding.
I know most of you guys are like hydraulic clutch, so it's one of the better ones out there. I like it. It just needs a little bit of a longer throw for me, and then I would be happy. But overall, very fun bike. I appreciate KTM bringing them out. We're going to do a little bit more settings with this. I went up in air pressure today, 11.1 bar on the fork. High speed, we went in a half a turn for me. You backed it off a little bit.
I went to standard. Okay. Standard pressure on the forks and a quarter turn on high speed.
And what that did for me is it helped the pitching. So off throttle on decel, it kind of stayed low. Raising that air pressure to 11.1 helped balance that bike out. And then what I needed out of the rear end, I didn't want it to squat as much, high speed in a little bit, balance the bike out for me, and I was pretty happy. Obviously, track was really rough today. So overall, happy with the KTM, and look for more tests on racerxonline.com. If you have any questions, Kris at KeeferInkTesting.com. I will help you out. And don't forget, RacerX has a publication. There is a magazine available.
They're great for toilet reading, too.
There you go. See you on the next one.